Thank you for all those joining. We're just kind of playing around with this AI generated tool. Suno, before we begin, we're trying to select the theme song for the podcast right now. Okay, so this time I generated new synth rock beats. So let's hear what these are. Flowing through my veins. Scared little heartbeat. No sorrow, no pace. Mechanical mind. Calculations below. Yeah, it's all right. It kind of makes me happy a little bit. All right.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's try one more.
With circuitry flowing through my veins, digital heartbeat, no sorrow, no pains. Mechanical.
No, not my style. No.
Okay. Not for me. Not for me.
Not for me. No, no. Maybe for somebody, but not for me. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and kick us off. I think it's about that time. It's about 5 after when we like to start.
Yeah,
so
perfect time.
Perfect time. Exactly. I thank you all so much. This is the AI Insights podcast series. I am Daniel Leiker, and this is
my name is Patrice Ibana.
Yes, we both work at Immerse, and my background is in AI for education or AI for learning. And I wanted to host this type of event on Thursday nights, actually just more of a kind of exploratory space so we can all kind of learn together. This will be usually I'm going to try to cover different events that have happened in the week or different tools or things that I found, things that I hope that you'll find interesting as well, as I found them interesting through the week. And as always, we'll stop at certain segments to allow you to ask any questions, or feel free to ask questions anytime. Patrice will be monitoring throughout just to see if you have any questions.
No problem.
And yeah, again, we're from Immerse Education, providers of transformative educational experiences to students globally with online programs and residential summer programs. We are operating within globally renowned universities such as Oxford, Cambridge, University College London, and the University of Sydney. And I think we can also add Berkeley to that, Columbia, and the University of Toronto in Canada. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining. I'm sure that we have a mix of attendees. Maybe some of you are alumni, maybe some of you haven't joined on one of our live programs, but either way, welcome. So today this is gonna be these podcasts. We can kind of go however long we want to, but I think I usually kind of set the length here to be about the end at the half hour. But if we need to go a little longer for questions, that's also okay. But today we're going to talk about some developments in robotics and AI. I think this is the main thing I found very interesting this week. And the first couple examples I'm going to show you actually are kind of from previous weeks, but there was one crazy thing that was dropped yesterday that I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I didn't know that the robotics had kind of moved that far. So we'll kind of watch some of these videos together, and then we'll kind of talk about them and break them down. And then we'll kind of go into some news that's also happened with some AI agents and talk about the implications there and how that actually applies to the robotics. So if anybody here is interested in robotics or AI in general, this would be good for you. If you're just interested in AI, in current events, this is good for you as well. And then lastly, if we have time, I kind of came across a new tool for doing research, particularly if you're trying to do academic research that's kind of useful. It's kind of a little better than ChatGPT, I found. And it actually has a free tier that's kind of useful if you're trying to do some immediate research. And I'll share that tool at the end. So without further ado, I will go ahead and start with the robotics. So
yes, sir.
Here's the first one here. This is called Animals. I guess that's supposed to be like animals. And this is a wheel, hand, leg, arms, open door, playful robot. So this robot here, and I'll play the video in just a second. They used, I guess, the various large language models and machine learning models to allow this robot to learn how to use very, very rapidly. And I think the main thing is how quickly this was able to learn how to learn how to perform basic tasks, such as like opening this door or various throwing the thing into the box. And it only has wheels for hands. So let's watch the video and let them explain a little bit better. But I thought this was a little bit quirky. We'll get to some really kind of serious examples in a moment, but I think it's important to understand what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
This wheeled-legged robot is able to perform hybrid motions to combine the advantages of wheeled and legged locomotion.
Okay, I'll do it like this.
The robot learned how to stand up. Its front legs can now act as arms to fulfill manipulation tasks, such as opening a door or moving a package. In this work, we present a curiosity-driven reinforcement learning approach to achieve such behaviors.
Curiosity-driven learning.
Learning and non-learning based methods usually require an extensive amount of task-specific engineering, for example, in the form of reward shaping. We overcome this limitation by defining a single task-specific reward that is given if the task is achieved. Resulting control policies show a high level of repeatability. To be able to discover this sparse reward, the agent needs to explore its environment. Making the agent curious intrinsically motivates exploration. We define a state to focus the agent's curiosity on the object of interest. For the door,
I'll stop there. But either way, it's a very interesting project and how quickly they're able to train this robot and the potential implications to train robots in the future of different types of configurations. So now let me move back. Now this actually released just a couple months ago, and this is just for those who are not familiar with this. This is Optimus Generation 2, and this is from Tesla.
Tesla.
Yes. And I think what's important here is you'll see at the beginning is the difference, how quickly the generations from one year to this next year are improving. It's actually very impressive. Very kind of humanoid. Walking a bit slow. Oh, that's good. That's exciting. I think I did some of the air squats before. That's really impressive with the egg. That means it really has that fine control. Oh. Is that robot? Is that called the robot dance?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, that's a bad joke.
Oh.
All right.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even see that coming.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. It just kind of
No,
came
but
out.
that's incredible how, like, for example, even this last shot, you've trained them, like humanity's trained these robots to assess what sound is like, what music is, and then also assess that, okay, I need to move and dance because this is what humans do. This is incredible.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So I think what's interesting, and this is maybe like a little it might sound like a boring fact, but it's actually kind of important. So they're talking here about the way it walks, and obviously the way it walks is still kind of slow, but I guess the predictions are sometime later this year, or definitely early next year. They're expecting the robots to pass the walking Turing test, which that means the ability to walk like humans, in which it would be undistinguishable
Yeah.
as a human. And so these are kind of going to start getting pretty close to walk as naturally as us.
That's incredible. And obviously, I know you're not actually there while they're making this, but like, how would you train an AI or robot to do so? Is it more of like visually showing them that like
Yeah.
you're gonna like you put a bunch of videos in front of them showing a bunch of human beings walking around, and then
So there's a few ways to train them. And so one way is you basically create a simulation, just like a 3D computer game.
yeah,
We'll actually get to an example of that a bit later, of something kind of similar. But you basically create and you create a model of them, so the 3D, schematics of them, and then you train them in this virtual space of like how to walk better, and try to get the hang of it with kind of physics that are built in the natural world. Then another way that you can do it is you could call it remote monitoring. And maybe not these exactly, but other ones where basically you have a human that has controls for the arms and has controls for the body.
Yeah.
And then they might do a task like pick up an egg to show how light it needs to be done. And so they'll, through the controls, by it doing controls of it, it'll then learn how to do that task from the human to it.
So with repetition and that's incredible.
And it'll definitely get there closer more and more to just kind of watch and observe what humans are doing and kind of mimic that behavior. I'd say that's a little bit more on the kind of cutting edge of what would be possible.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting though is that most people think of Tesla as a car company. Obviously it is, electric car company. But they are expecting to go into the direction of making millions or tens of millions of these types of robots. So they're planning to become, because in a way, an electric car is a robot. It's got a battery. It's, you control it, or it's autonomous, and what they're building now. So this is a robot with two legs instead of wheels from their perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they want to see in a few years, a bunch of these in people's houses, and folding your laundry and cooking breakfast. And
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's just like,
I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
yeah. I wonder who's ready for that. Yeah. I think I would like it. I think I'd be fine with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone else, please let us know who would want a robot in their house.
Yeah. Who wants a robot in their house? Maybe will it do your homework as well?
Hey, that wouldn't be bad, If I was back in uni, I'll definitely need a robot.
Chloe, yes. Thank you. Exactly. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I think is the most impressive. So if we thought this is impressive, and for those, you kind of have to watch. I'm going to play this whole video. It's about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'll explain why this is so powerful and why this is so significant. So this is a new company called Figure. It's also partnered with OpenAI, and I believe Figure's also received investments from Amazon and Microsoft and a few others. So they're receiving robotics company receiving a lot of attention lately. And
what they're about.
So now they're tying in ChatGPT voice with the robotic controls, and I don't know. Let's see what it can do.
Hey, Figure One, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Notice how he just said, "Can I have something to eat?" He didn't say, "Hand me the apple." He just said, "I'd like something to eat." So I had to understand that an apple is edible and an apple was in front of it.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple. because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
And there it's now multitasking. So it's explaining what it just did while it's also
What?
doing the action. This is very kind of human like
Yeah.
activity, right?
Great. So, based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great. Can you put them there?
Of course.
This is incredible.
All right. So, how do you think you did?
I think I did pretty well. The apple found its new owner, the trash is gone, and the tableware is right where it belongs.
I agree. Thanks, Figure One.
You're welcome. If there's anything else you need help with, just let me know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is whenever a question was asked, you can see it on the robot's face that it's loading, it's assessing, and
Mhm.
then it loads, and then it speaks. That's incredible.
Yeah. It's actually the same. So on if you get the ChatGPT app for the phone and you do the voice
Yeah.
thing, it's the same. It does the same graphics, like these three dots and
Yeah, yeah,
such on
yeah.
there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, you can tell that it's thinking, you can tell it's ringing. But I mean, think about what like from an AI perspective here, you have one model, which is machine vision, which is basically its ability to look out and use pattern recognition to as vision to look out to the world and identify the objects in front of it.
Yeah.
And so it's identifying apple, it's identifying plate, it's identifying cup. And then it's able to move those through space by picking them up. That's another dexterity thing that we thought was very far away.
Yeah.
And then it's able to articulate and explain all of that logically to us in natural language through the large LLMs, large language models, as well. So it's like all of these parts kind of coming together, feeding off of each other, making this experience possible,
Yeah.
and makes me kind of clearly understand that it'll be pretty soon. I mean, a few years, and then I'll have one of these in my closet. Wake up,
Really?
you know, I'll wake up and it'll already have breakfast ready.
Breakfast
and,
ready for you. All your clothes for the day,
yeah.
all ironed out and placed on the bed. That's incredible. Chloe asked the question. She says, "Are there any dangers of allowing people to have these fully functional robots in their houses?"
Ooh, that is a good question. Um, I mean, of course, there is always danger with any type of tool or device or anything that we have. Like even a stove is dangerous and that we can burn our hands, or
Yeah.
cars are dangerous and you can get into car accidents. Even pets can be dangerous. As cat can scratch you or whatever. So, um, you know, so in short answer, I mean, of course, anything can be. But I also think that these technology companies will be very, very, very careful to make sure that everything is as safe as possible and that it has, off switch or some ability to kind of stop immediately when it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would feel comfortable with them because I know that these are going to be, well managed and well designed. So
Okay.
do we have another question there? Is it?
Yes, we have another question from Grace Townsend.
Okay.
She said, "I would like to know why it said, um, I gave the apple to its owner instead of saying I gave you the apple to eat."
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think yeah, that's a good, I did notice that there's a couple kind of questions that it's the way that it phrases a few things is kind of funny and kind of
Mm-hmm.
cute. I think it's just trying to be I think that they're just trying to be clever with the language.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did say instead of I gave, it said I the Apple has a new owner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why it used that, but I did think it's pretty funny though. Yeah, yeah.
That's yeah, I find that interesting because he is gonna eat the apple, like,
Mhm.
and he asks, get me something to eat. So is it a thing where once if once you give me, for example, once you give me a piece of apple or I was about to say chicken, but
Mhm.
like, is it mine? Does it belong to me now? Because I think that's basically what the robot's saying.
I think so. I mean, and did the robot actually own it before then? Is a question. You know, like, is it saying that it was owned it before because it was right in front of it, and now now it's transferred ownership?
Yeah,
Um,
that's hmm.
yeah, yeah. I don't
Platform
know.
to think about.
Anyway, yeah.
Please,
Something
guys,
to
let
think
us know what you think. But yeah, that's a very interesting point, Grace. I definitely agree with that.
about. Okay. So let's. Any more questions, or I'll move on.
We have a statement. I don't know if it's a question or a statement from Kashav. Is like, people sometimes leave pets on the road, and will there be stray robots on the street?
Um, have you, a good movie to see? It has Will Smith in it. It's a definitely an older movie. It's called I, Robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a kind of, if you want to kind of get a bit of sense of this future world in a science fiction dystopian way, I think that's a good one. This
Yeah.
is what makes me kind of think of, and that's where you have Asimov's three laws of robotics. A robot cannot harm a human unless, it has, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but like there's the three laws of robotics to kind of protect humans from harm, which it won't work exactly in this case, but yeah, people have been thinking about this for a while. But yeah, I certainly think it could be possible that robots are strays, maybe.
Stray robots on the streets. That's cool.
Okay, all right, so let's run through. I'll kind of be quick because I know we're running out of time now. So thank you all for being patient thus far. Um, so now this is now onto something a little bit different. So now we're going to switch to the agents. So we just seen the robots, and look, in future episodes, there were so many more robots I could have shown you, but I just wanted to show you the most impressive one that just came out yesterday. But moving forward, we'll cover that. Last week was a bit of music and more kind of sound and this type of AI. We did Sora video a couple weeks back, and so each week we'll try to hit something that's kind of exciting, especially timely. But this right here is the first AI software engineer. So I'm going to play this minute and, well, slightly less than 2 minute clip, and this is basically now a virtual agent, a virtual software engineer that can do coding tasks on its own.
That's incredible.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement. Reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advancements that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning.
So this is amazing in so many ways. And so they also took it further, and I won't play this full video, but they also took it further, and they basically started signing Devin up to jobs on Upwork to complete coding tasks for pay. and it
Yeah.
was able to complete a lot of this. So this is making inference of computer vision models, um, etc. And Devin is able to kind of complete these tasks. So we're kind of moving to a place where even some of these coding jobs can just be done by these agents, or these agents can assist coders.
Yeah.
It's just very exciting, because what that's actually kind of leading to is a future where any one of us can be coders, right?
Coders, yeah.
It's about having an idea and a vision and sticking with it and finding the solutions, but you can start to work with these tools to extend your abilities. And then if you are already a coder, then this is just going to help you be X times, multiple
Better,
times
yeah.
more productive, and etc. So
Okay.
yeah.
And is this something that we need to that somebody that's into coding and computer science needs to worry about in terms of like future, especially young students looking into studying
Yeah.
computer science and coding in university?
Absolutely not. I think that there's I there's there's the old way of thinking as I see it, which people think that, oh, AI can code now, AI is going to take jobs
Yeah.
or whatever. I think that's wrong. I think what it means is that the world is going to need now a lot more code. So it's going to need the AIs and the humans
Yeah, that's true.
working together to make even more code. Like the amount of code that's going to be required is going to just keep growing. And it's
Okay.
going to be so I think going into this, I mean, look, the tools are going to change, right? I mean, the tools from this year to next year and just keeping up with them are important. But the fact that, we need humans to steer the creativity and help kind of direct the tools, and work in collaboration with them, that's going to be around for
Okay.
a good long time.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Something to look forward to. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. So then, somewhat similar to this is then from Google DeepMinds. This is called Sima. So basically, they created a 3D player that can be a partner, or it's an AI agent that can assist you in any type of 3D gameplay. In this case, they used it for Goat Simulator, along with many other titles as well. And so this agent, see if I can find some examples of the actual gameplay. Um, yeah, so this agent can go through and learn any virtual world, play that game, and it has the exact same inputs. So here's No Man's Sky, Goal Simulator. Now, so what's important about this, and this might not seem important at first until you understand what happens. So many of you that play video games, you're like, oh, but I played with AI bots in games. Like, what's special about this? Well, a lot of times the AI bots in games are programmed, and they also have a lot of times like information that's available to them that's outside of the actual gameplay. So a bot will have additional information about you as the player than you have as a player with a controller or keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
And so, but what this has is this has the exact same mouse, keyboard, or whatever inputs as the human, and is participating in this world and playing like a human and learning how to do this very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does this actually mean practically? This is the types of models that are used to train robots that we saw earlier
Yeah.
in earlier today. So these will these yeah they will be training in these virtual environments. And so basically what they're saying is that the what the guy, when I watched this video, I'm just kind of showing here, he said that so the AI that learns how to carefully mow your lawn, right, kind of in a very controlled and orderly fashion,
Yeah.
will have trained on every single crazy game 3D environment in Minecraft and every No Man's Sky and all these things beforehand, just to understand how to control itself perfectly in normal physical 3D environment,
Yeah.
right? So it's just a kind of interesting thought experiment to think about. So, or thought.
That's so interesting. And how far are they with this project? How far are they with working on something like this? Has it been tested yet, or it's still in the whole production phase?
This is, I think, so they published
Early
some
production.
papers. Yeah, they published some papers with this. So I think it's pretty far. I think they're bringing this into different other simulation tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I know we're running out of time now, so I'll just kind of show the very last thing, and then we'll close for today. So for a research topic, so this is my new research recommendation. I don't know if many of you have used this tool before. This is Perplexity. Now, what's interesting about Perplexity, so this is I think they're now backed by Amazon and some other big players. And so this is the competitor to Google. So a lot of people kind of thought that like ChatGPT was some competitor to Google. And though ChatGPT does access the web, ChatGPT is more interested in kind of giving longer, lengthier responses. Whereas Perplexity is supposed to be really kind of like a web navigation and data collection tool for the internet.
Okay.
So this tool is really great if you're trying to do any kind of personal research just for yourself, looking up something interesting. Or if I go down here, I'm going to click on Pro. Now, even with the free tier, you get 5 Pro searches a day. And then I can go down here to Focus, and I can actually go to Academic. So when I go into Academic now I can just say, okay, let's look up something. Oh, it gives me some kind of options here to look up with. Let's look up quantum computing in 2024. And great. It says, oh, so now it's asking me what specific aspects are you looking for? And I'll just say, oh, I'm looking for applications, send. Okay, great. And so now here it goes. So better than just like kind of ChatGPT where it gives me a lengthy and a couple links, this now will provide me with all this. These are all scholarly resources that I can use and kind of reference and read myself with summaries to each one of them, links to them. You're just kind of going to continue going.
So this is perfect for research.
Yeah, and then you have different more related links here. And then I think the camera froze. Okay. And then also too, yeah. Oh, it's still going.
Oh, wow. Well, there is a lot on quantum computing.
Yep. I was going to show one last thing and then I'm going to stop. I think we have a question. Oh, yeah. And then once it's done, it gives you this little tool here if you want to search images specifically. So here it'll bring up some images for me, or if you want to pull. So in this way, it's kind of like Google again, but with so much more robustness in terms of like, so if you wanted to write an essay, you wanted to do some quick research, I would say that this is the place to start. Of course, you can go back in with the follow-up question and say, no, please give me research papers from not instead of 2024, give me ones from 2022 and such. And then you can also, but this is for premium, you can also generate images as well and have it generate images related to the topic. So I think we have a question and then.
Yeah, so Aska, Fatima, she asked, is Perplexity free of cost?
Perplexity, it is for the first 5 searches of any day. And then if you want to do like up to 500 a day or a lot, then you have to pay, but the rest of them are free, yeah.
No problem. Do we have any other questions? This is the time, everybody. If you have a question,
Yeah. If not, we'll put on the outro music soon.
Oh, we have an outro music now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. I hope you join us again next week and every week. We'll be talking about more and more AI topics. Also, please reach out to us for more information about our summer programs. We do have programs on engineering where they discuss topics in robotics. We do have AI courses as well and summer programs. So please connect with us and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening, everyone.
In the jazz club on a sultry Thursday night.